Welcome back to another episode of Bromance. I'm Ryan, and today I want to do a solo pod. I want to talk about the Knicks Pistons preview for Game 3 and then my thoughts about Game 2. But before I get into it, let's hit the intro.
Ice water turn Atlantic, night calling in a phantom. Told them, hold it, don't you panic.
All right, welcome back again. Talking about my thoughts from Game 2 and then previewing a little bit of Game 3. So it is about 6:30. The Knicks play in about half an hour, so I want to make this quick, like 20-ish minutes, let's say. And yeah, let's hope the Knicks win tonight. So Detroit wins their first playoff game since 2008. Congrats to the Pistons. This is not satire. I do enjoy the Pistons. They are my third favorite team, but congrats to the Pistons. I believe they snapped a 14-game playoff losing streak, so good on their part. They did their job. They stole one on the road, so series is tied 1-1, obviously. Cade Cunningham. So Cade Cunningham looked really fucking good, like really fucking good this game. The end of the first game, I thought that second half that he was starting to look pretty solid. And this game, he did a really good job. So Cade Cunningham finished with 33 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists. And I also want to talk about Dennis Schroeder because I think he also did a very good job this game coming off the bench. So Dennis Schroeder, he played 29 minutes, 20 points. He went 3 of 5 from the three-point line and had a few assists and a few steals in there too. So Dennis Schroeder had that game-tying, or I'm sorry, not game-tying. He had that go-ahead shot in the fourth quarter. I think there was about 30 seconds left that put the Pistons up 3. I thought the Knicks defense, for the most part, looked pretty solid. I don't think that good defense is going to stop good offensive players like Cade Cunningham. There's only so much you can do. You can slow him down, but I thought Cade looked really good. But that last kind of real possession for the Knicks on defense where Josh Hart, I think Josh Hart was on, I forget who he's on now, but the Knicks were trying to switch and Josh Hart fell back a little bit. Or no, Brunson, I'm sorry. Brunson was on Cade Cunningham. Josh Hart was on Dennis Schroeder. Josh Hart fell back a little bit, so Jalen Brunson could pick him up. And that little bit of, split half second, 1 second, Schroeder realized that he can just walk into a 3, and that's exactly what he did. So I think Dennis Schroeder did really well this game. I know that after game 1, he got killed, which I don't understand why, because I thought that he looked pretty solid. Mikal Bridges. So I killed Mikal Bridges after the first game for, in my opinion, doing a really shitty job. But I do want to give him his praises here. I think that he was honestly probably the most consistent Knick this game. So he finishes the game with 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. He went 3 of 11 from the three-point line. So I know a lot of Knick fans were killing him for that. But he was trying his best to spread the floor because guys like Josh Hart and Karl-Anthony Towns were not shooting this game. And I also want to mention this because I killed him after game 1, that Mikal Bridges was the only Knick to finish the game with a positive plus-minus as a starter. So Mikal Bridges +1, OG Anunoby -5, Karl-Anthony Towns -10, Jalen Brunson -2, Josh Hart -5. So I thought he looked pretty well. It just sucks that he didn't hit, especially that last 3, but it just sucked that he didn't hit a lot of those 3s. The reffing. So I didn't want to lead with this because I didn't want to look like a salty fan. But I think that the Pistons got a lot of touch fouls in the first half, and I thought that the Knicks were getting a lot of calls, more specifically in that fourth quarter. So I don't care if you call every single foul. I don't care if you don't call any fouls. The only thing that I really care about watching the game as a fan is just being consistent. Because if you think about it, if you're an offensive player and you're constantly getting hacked on one side of the court, And you go on defense and you're like, fuck it. Like they were playing hard defense on me. Time for me to play hard defense on them. And you put a hand on someone and they're like, foul. You're like, ref, what the heck? Like, how am I supposed to guard this guy? I'm getting mauled on the other side of the court. So, first half, I thought the Knicks got hosed on a lot of calls. And then I thought that the second half, the Knicks got a lot of calls. And I more specifically think that Asar Thompson got a lot of little touch fouls called against him. So Asar Thompson fouls out this game. He has 6 fouls. We have Jalen Brunson foul hunting more specifically in that fourth quarter. He finally gets Asar Thompson 2 foul out of the game, and he's on the floor. He sticks up 6 fingers, which not a lot of Knick fans were happy about because it really seemed like that he was just throwing a lot of shots up at the rim and hoping to get foul calls rather than playing basketball. I personally did not enjoy watching that. I didn't enjoy Josh Hart not shooting the ball. I did not enjoy Karl-Anthony Towns not shooting the ball. I did not enjoy Thibodeau's rotations. Like, there's a lot of shit that I enjoy. But the foul hunting was annoying as shit. And I do think that there was 2 calls that I think were egregious that he got the fouls called against Asar. More specifically, that one where he was guarding Jalen Brunson in the back court, and Jalen Brunson is dribbling the ball up the court, tries to I think he tried to hook him, and he threw his head back a few times, got the call. The Pistons challenge it and lose the challenge, which that should not have been a foul, and also that call should have been reversed. Let's talk about Thibodeau's bench. So the bench only scores 8 points in this game. I thought the Knicks were exhausted down the stretch, and you could tell that they were losing a lot of their energy and they were not fighting through screens that they were, really trying to fight through the first half. We'll go over the rotations kind of later on, but his rotation's killing me. I know I come on here all the time and talk about him, but it really is frustrating to watch. But actually, let's talk about the first quarter, though, because I do want to talk about this right now. Thibodeau sat Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. Wasn't a lot, but he sat them both for a total of 1 minute and 39 seconds around the end of the first quarter. So I thought that was crazy. You should always have one of them on the court. Those are your 2 main offensive guys. Those are really your only 2 offensive shot creators that you have on your team. So you need one of them out there at all times, especially in a playoff game. The Pistons, they only went on a 4-0 run, but if you really think about it down the stretch, the Knicks are trying to shoot a 3 at the end of a game, like the Mikal Bridges 3 at the end of the game to go ahead, and it's a tie game. Every possession matters. So if the Knicks have Karl-Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson out there, I know the Pistons only scored 4 points, but do you think that you might have scored 2 points? Do you think that maybe you would have held the Pistons to less points? Obviously, you could have given up more points, but I don't think the game would have been tied. Like, long story short, every possession matters. Let's talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. So I said in the preview that this is going to be a big Karl-Anthony Towns series. And that first game, he looked really good. And this game, he looked really bad. So Karl-Anthony Towns, he is scoreless in the second half of basketball. He took his last shot with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third quarter. And the entire second half, he only took 3 shots, which is terrible. Knicks traded a lot for him, man. They traded Julius Randle. They traded Dante DiVincenzo in a first-round pick. And I think all season long, Knicks fans could have been like, yo, the Knicks fleeced the Timberwolves. I can't believe they gave up all that for Julius Randle and – I'm sorry, other way around. I can't believe that the Knicks only had to give up Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Like, they definitely won this trade. Oh, my God. And I would say that those Knicks fans have been right for most of the season. But game 2 was not aggressive, was not really demanding the ball. A lot of teams – or not a lot of teams, a lot of fans are killing Karl-Anthony Towns. They're killing Jalen Brunson. They're killing Tibbs. Like, I think that there's a lot of fingers to point, but at the end of the day, if you're a good player and you're a center, get your ass in the post, put your back to the rim, demand the ball. Like, demand the ball, because that fourth quarter was a lot of Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson pick and rolls. And not to say that they didn't do that a lot this season, but their best all around play that they were calling all season long was a Karl-Anthony Towns pick and roll with Jalen Brunson, because a Josh Hart pick and roll with Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart is rolling every single time to the rim. But a pick and roll situation with Karl-Anthony Towns, yes, he can roll to the rim. And if that dude is rolling to the rim in rhythm, he's throwing it down on someone's head. And I think at that point that they're just making an executive decision to just step out of the way and, not get dunked on. But Karl-Anthony Towns is also one of the best shooting big men in the NBA. So you have to respect that instead of him rolling, he may pop, meaning he might take the shot, whether he's, let's say it's a free throw line shot, but more than likely it's a behind the three at the top of the key shot. Knicks really got out rebounded this game. Don't have the specific number, but I do want to pull it up, because that, I believe, is why Thibodeau kind of rolled out the rotations that he was rolling out in that fourth quarter. Knicks get out rebound. Oh my God. 48-34. So obviously not good. I think that's a big reason why Tibbs went with the rotations that he did. So to start the fourth quarter, Tom Thibodeau ran out a rotation of Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, and Miles McBride. And this is the first time that the Knicks ran that rotation out all season long. And what better time to do it than game 2 of your playoff series against the Pistons, where you steal a game at home and you're down in the fourth quarter? It doesn't make any sense. I can see why they had Cat out there, and I can also see why they had Mitch out there. But if you have Hart out there now, you only have two shooting, I guess 3, but in this game I would say 2. You have Miles McBride, who's more than willing to take the shot, and the same thing with Jalen Brunson. But Josh Hart, he's not willing to take the 3 most of the time, and you can really tell that he was not even looking for his shots this past game unless it was at the rim. And Cat only took 3 shots the entire second half. So we'll talk about it later, but shit's got to change. Let's talk more about that fourth quarter. So Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, that entire fourth quarter was really not playing basketball. He was free throw hunting a lot, foul hunting, free throw hunting, whatever you want to call it. But he was foul hunting a lot, and he was getting killed online for it, rightfully so. I do hope that he kind of changes his mindset, and I do hope that the Knicks stop, foul hunting and complaining to the refs and just play basketball. Because at the end of the day, you're the better team. You're the more talented team. You have more on the line. It's time to stop being cute. It's time to start matching the other team's energy. And you're on the road now. So Pistons, they really did their job. They showed up to MSG. They, in my opinion, should have won game 1. The Knicks really stole that game from them. And then game 2, the Knicks almost come back and steal the game from them again. But Pistons hold on. Schroeder hits that big 3. And they did their job. They split one game on the road, and now the Knicks have to go into Detroit, and they at least have to split. They cannot lose tonight. I promise you that. Yeah. So game 3, I already talked about this, but I really do think that if the Knicks lose a series, that no doubt in my mind that Thibodeau gets fired. They don't have a ton of picks. They have guys like Mikal Bridges that will be free agent this summer. But other than that, you really don't have a ton of assets. Like, you have a few picks. You have Miles McBride. You have guys like Tyler Kolek if you want to trade him, but he didn't see too much playing time this season. I think that's really it. Like, I don't think teams are trading for Shamet or Cameron Payne. Josh Hart, he played 40 minutes this past game. I don't think that he plays 40 minutes tonight, and I really hope he doesn't. But I think that Josh Hart is a really good player to have, but I think in spurts. Like I really don't want to see Josh Hart out there for 40 minutes unless he's fucking killing the other team. He's grabbing every board, he's pushing the ball to court, he's hitting these shots, he's willing to take the three. If he's not, then I don't think that you really need him out there, especially if you're running a double big lineup of Mitch and then this past game with Cat when Cat's not willing to shoot the ball. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. The Knicks defense. So I thought the Knicks defense actually looked pretty good this game. They only gave up 100 points. It really was just their offense. It was really just their offense for this game. So, I mean, hey, if I were to tell you that before game 2 that the Knicks were to only give up 100 points, I think most fans would say, okay, well, the Knicks won the game, obviously, right? But obviously, that wasn't the case. So let's see how they look the rest of the series. I do think that they need to switch something up with how they guard Cade Cunningham. Like I said, good offense honestly does beat good defense. You can kind of slow, good offense down, but you can't stop it. And Cade Cunningham has looked that good so far. So I don't know if the Knicks try to throw Mikal Bridges on him a little bit. I don't know if they try to throw doubles at him. I don't know if they try to not switch as much. I don't know if they switch up matchups on one side of the floor. So if the Pistons keep on trying to put them in those switches, that they're not going to switch because they're already in the switch. So we'll see. And then lastly, to close my thoughts on the first 2 games. So the Knicks are a 21-0 run away from being down 0-2 in the series, going to Detroit on the road. And I don't want to think about what happens if they lose tonight. So things to look for tonight. No Isaiah Stewart again. I don't know what happened. He had imaging done on his right knee. So something happened. I don't know what. I didn't do my research for, kind of looking into all that, but I do know that he's out tonight. Come on. Really? What's going on here? Sorry, my everything just froze on me. Okay, I'm back. What type of game do we get from Karl-Anthony Towns? So I talked about it before the series even started, but this is going to be a big Karl-Anthony Towns game. I'm sure he saw what people were saying about him in the media. I'm sure he watched game footage and realized, hey, I need to be willing to take these shots. I need to demand the ball. I think Jalen Brunson needs to recognize that too, and I'm sure he will. He's Jalen Brunson. And I think Tibbs also has to realize that too. So I think between the 3 of them that he will be more involved this game. Does Josh Hart play more than 40 minutes this game? I don't think so. I really hope not, unless he's really killing it. But Cameron Payne, he only played 4 minutes in that second game. I know he had 3 fouls, and I don't think that one of them was actually on him. He kind of just picked up that foul that should have been called on OG Anunoby. But let's see if he plays more than 4 minutes. I'm going to assume that he does. I also think that Shamet will probably get a little bit of run in this game just because that fourth quarter was a lot of ISO ball, a lot of foul hunting. It was a lot of Josh Hart running at the rim. So I think we will see more minutes between Cameron Payne, Shamet, and Miles McBride. And my prediction for tonight, I know that I predicted game 2. So hold on. I want to talk about this real quick. I made that video before game 2, and I was right on literally everything besides prediction. And I looked like such an asshole saying that the Knicks were going to win by double-digit points. I talked about Isaiah Stewart, and I was curious if he was going to play in the game. This was before it was reported that he was out. He didn't play in the game. I predicted that Cade Cunningham was going to look good because I thought that the end of the first game that he looked really good, and that I think that he gained some confidence and he looked really good. And then I talked about Shamet and how if he was going to play more than 10 minutes, and that I didn't think he was going to play more than 10 minutes because the shots really weren't falling. And on defense, he didn't look too hot. So I looked good on all of that, besides predicting that the Knicks were going to win by double digits. So my prediction for tonight, I do think that the Knicks win tonight. I'm not predicting by double-digit points, but I do think that they'll win tonight. And that's it. Let's go Knicks. Thanks for watching. Peace.